and they're hitting me. Enemy down. Check it out, care package coming in. We meet
Don't
at
finish
last. My arch enemy, the greatest warrior that... Oh, sorry, my bad. I thought you were someone else.
I like this outfit though. I figured I'll start off the morning with a little Mirage tutorial because I've been saying I'm going to do it for like the longest time and I just haven't taken the time to actually get it out the way. So we're going to go over the basic movements, special abilities and things of that nature. And I even put on the original outfit. So anyway, if you've seen other Mirage videos, mine's a little bit different because I don't play him like the normal, I guess, Mirage mains. I'm more about the trickery of Mirage. Anyway, when it comes to Mirage, he's a solo character. And that's the thing, you don't see a lot of pro players playing him or even like in the lobbies a lot anymore. He's probably one of those,
ready to rock.
You know, pick rates. And the biggest thing about it is because this game is a team-based game. And having somebody like him who's not team-based doesn't work out very well for everybody. Now, with that being said, I gotta take my headphones off. With that being said, he's still able to play with a team, but you have to have good communication and run this guy. The people that I don't advise running with him is probably Maggie. Maggie's definitely a number one because Maggie's going to push into everything, and Mirage will push into things too, but Maggie's like, I'm definitely going to directly push into you. Catalyst with her wall. Seer, I guess. Fuse would be pretty good. Caustic. Revenant be good as well. And Bangalore. I think those would be probably, like, in my opinion, the top people that are good to run with Mirage, I guess. I mean, that's really it. And like I said, you see, like, he's an assault character. And the thing about it is he doesn't have any like abilities that really work well with these other people. In my opinion, he doesn't. Now, when it comes to his first ability here, for me, I don't ever throw out a clone like this unless it's in a doorway. I'm throwing out a clone, I'm having it face a door because I know that there's somebody on the other side of that door watching. But at the same time, your other teammates don't know. So if you're not communicating with your other team and I just leave the clone at the door and I climb up or I go away, you're still thinking, your other teammates are thinking like, I'm still just sitting at the door waiting for you to break it open. You know, you're hitting the clone, I get to know where you're at. And that's the biggest thing a lot of people don't realize about the clone. The clone is there to give you information on how far they're out. If I'm pretty much like behind cover or something, if you guys watched my last video last night, where, let's go over here real quick. This might be a little bit better. Since I don't have anybody I can really fight. So, last night we were playing with one Hernandez or a gamester, and teach him the ropes and everything. And so I was thinking like, well, the best way to do that would probably be me to play my main character. So what I'm doing is I'm throwing out clones here, and it depends on what's in my way, like this ledge here, or what I'm throwing it to on if I activate the clone or not. So for him, I would throw it out here,
taking him out with a decoy,
and then I would kind of just jump it up. So I'm always activating my clone. Every time I throw one out and it gets to a certain distance, I'm activating my clone. And I'm usually sitting behind cover or something or making moves to where it looks like I'm actually out there. And I never throw my clone out without my gun out. This is just one of those times I have it out. Now, the thing about Mirage's first ability is tactical is the fact that it comes back so fast. Like, I already have it back. So in 15 seconds, I can get another clone out. And the beauty about that is because it's consistently gives me information. Every 15 seconds, I can get information from somebody. And so what we were doing last night is me being behind here and him being Bloodhound. I'm just waiting for him to do his scan. But at the same time, if you're throwing this clone out here, most people will go for that clone. They're automatically going to shoot it in these lobbies now because most people believe that it's the real me. Now, the thing about using a clone and climbing ledges is not something I recommend unless you're at a really, really far distance. So if I throw my clone out and I'm aiming for this spot here,
how about this way?
And I'm way over here, you see how my clone disappears. So the reason to be, and that's another thing that I really hate about what they did with him, is if you hit certain ledges or certain edges, or if you're trying to throw a clone off of something, and like there's nothing here for him to really, I guess you could say, disappear from, but this ledge here is something that the game registers that said he can't go over that, so we're going to make it disappear like he took damage. Now, if I'm throwing it back out, and I'm way back here, I'll do this sometimes. I'll throw him far out, and then I'll have the capability to jump around, because you see I have this here covering my jump a little bit, not a lot, but it gives me the opportunity to just actually crouch, jump on top of something, and make it look like I'm actually out there, which is beneficial. But if you look at like old videos on YouTube and things like that, every time I throw out a clone, I'm usually running with that clone, or I'll throw it out far enough where I can run behind it. And this is only if I'm going down like a long path. I will always throw a clone out that way because I'm having to go first. So I would have him throw one. I would throw one out at a long distance just because I know the chances of somebody being around that corner eventually is high, because people do want to choke people in those little caverns and shit. The biggest thing about the clone activation is knowing when to do it. Again, if I was in a fight somewhere, for me, if I'm fighting you and I'm doing, you know, so-and-so and so-and-so here, I will sometimes go behind the cover and throw out that clone, and boom. And then you're thinking I'm hitting that, but you're over here somewhere hitting my clone over there. And then eventually I'm just gonna ledge up, come over here, shoot you, back up, something like that, shoot you again, boom, boom, boom. Now, the thing about the clones as well is like the emotes. Sometimes I'll even do this. It's really rare that I do it now because I'm kind of like higher end lobbies. But if you really want to fuck with people, you know, just do your little emotes with Mirage, because especially if you have your team around or your team somewhere, because they're thinking you're like celebrating. And I would do this over death boxes. That's the funnier part, because the death box is where everybody's gonna be looking and saying like, oh crap, he's looting. And doing emotes or even throwing a clone out and over the death box and just letting it sit there like you're looting is another way. If I throw a clone out here and I'm not near it, I'll throw it towards loot box and I'll put my my gun away to make it look like I'm actually looting in the box, because people are quick to shoot you in the loot box because they're like, oh, he's not paying attention, free hits. No, don't ever put yourself in a situation where you're looting the box in the open. Throw your clone out there to see if people are going to take the bait, which gives plenty of time for you to get out of the area, leave your clone there on the box, and another team is basically going to come up running, especially if it was just a recent battle. So do your shield swap, get your batteries, get extra ammo, get out the box, and leave your clone in the box. When it comes to his life of the party ult, again, watching the gameplay from yesterday night or early this morning, or my last video basically, you'll see when I was fighting the guy up here,
let's check out that way.
I used my ult. And the thing about me using my ult versus everybody else that I've seen use the ult, most people use this ult will get behind cover. In my one video, like when I'm on break, if you watch the very end of that video, you'll see that I even do that. I'm behind the cover, hit the ult,
using the decoy escape,
and then I'm doing night. I see a lot of people do this. They do the circling thing. And I never understood it. Even like season 1, like, season 0 playing Mirage, I actually unlocked this dude. I spent money to unlock this guy in season 1. I was not playing. Then I really should be at like 20-some thousand kills, but I like, you know, changing up things. And boom, boom, I got you, No, it's an efficient way because they don't get the opportunity to see you. Look, I'm already at 70%. That's one another thing I like about this guy. His ult comes back fast. But I'm at 70, 80% right now. So if I'm behind an object and I'm doing my ult, that only allows me to do one of 3 things. I either have to go to the left, I have to go to the right, or I have to back away.
It doesn't work with me. That's why you don't do it behind a fucking wall.
Having the ult and you're only able to back up, go left or right doesn't do me personally any good. And like I said, I'm a different Mirage main character. So if I'm fighting you, I'm usually, in most of my gameplays, you usually see me like in somebody's face. I'm never bobbing and weaving. I don't know why. It's not something I do. You will always see me like run up to you, do that. It's one of the 2 ways. Now you see how my clone automatically climbed the wall. Cool. So I'm either pushing in like this, sliding, and that right there allows me to actually use it in a safe way. For me personally, again, the arm, the glow of the octopads on the arm, that's the dead giveaway. So if I'm pushing in like this, my slide is always going to blend in when I do my ultimate. And that allows me to do it because I'm using the cover of my clones in order to mask the blue octopad lights on my arm. Now, another thing that I will do every once in a while also, if I'm fighting you, and it's rare that I'll do it, but if I know there's somebody over there, I'll throw out a clone, activate that clone here, come back. No, excuse me, I won't come back. I won't let my clone get out that far. If I'm fighting you, but my clone's already standing there, and I'm just kind of moving back and forth, activate.
Using the decoy escape.
Boom. So now I have the actual this many clones. And sometimes I'll be a goof about it too. It's fun doing that because everybody always wants to shoot every single one. It's always fun. But even when my ult goes away, I still have the one clone left. And usually my clone is not that close. And it's very rare that I'll use this ability where I have a primary clone and then I'll have my ultimate out, because it does get a little challenging to do that. And that's definitely a situation based where it's really a 3-stack that I'll do that with. Just using his ult in general is I'm always, like I said, sliding.
Decoy escape deployed.
And here, I don't ever cross paths with my ult, especially if I'm in a tight space. Oh yeah, that's another thing. In a tight space, never do this. Never, ever, ever do this. Coming from where he used to be, where his ult used to just give him invisibility to get away. Freaking hiccups. His ult used to give, like, season 1 through whatever. His ult used to just give the ability just to run away. Like, you would be able to reposition yourself because you were fully invisible. And the thing about it was OP as hell because the octopads wouldn't glow. They would for a couple of seconds and then gone. It's not as long, the glow wasn't as long as it is now. I think I might have some old gameplay footage I might show that. But he would have the capability just to go anywhere. And I was using that as a defensive thing too. Like there would be times I would run away, and it was a lot when I was playing with him. I was like, okay, this is what his ult is meant for. It's just to run away from the situation. But then I was thinking like, no, this is an ability for me to just really ult, get behind you and just fuck you up. Because there were no footsteps. You couldn't see that person. You couldn't see me at all. So I do like this version of him being able to use his ultimate and controlling the clones mimic everything he does. I think that's pretty cool. When you're doing his ult, never do it in like a tight space like this. It doesn't make sense because you are now putting yourself in harm's way. So regardless of anything I do, if I bump you, you know which one I am. If I shoot my gun, you know which one I am. It doesn't make sense to do it in such a tight space. So never use Mirage's ult inside of buildings unless you have cover inside those buildings. But it's not something I recommend anybody ever uses ultimate for. You have to utilize his clone in a way that gives you information, but also gives you
Guess I'm running out of ideas.
gives a distraction. Like Mirage is nothing more than a distraction for your teammates. Another thing is if you're going to throw out a clone, make sure if you're throwing it out to gain information, just throw it out like he's just running across the field. Put away your gun.
My ultimate's good to go.
So that way, when you activate the clone, he does not have a gun. And that way you can go running around and blah, blah, blah. And it makes it look like you're running across the field. Now, for me, if I'm throwing out a clone, I'm 90% of the time have my gun out activated when I'm running across the field. It really depends on the map. Now, what I was saying, this dude, his ult is OP. His other abilities are a little bit of shit, but you know, love the guy regardless. Now, if they gave him the capability to actually get on zip lines, or if they gave the capability where his clone would fire the gun, you know, we're back to OP Mirage because people are definitely going to shoot the shit out of that. Yeah, just keep in mind, if you're throwing out a clone, throw out a clone, back up, then push it forward. Don't run with the clone. And I'll do that too. Like you'll see in my gameplay, if I'm just like goofing off, hold up, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, yeah. If I'm just goofing off with everything, I just feel like running beside. There are times I'll do it. I'll throw out a clone and I'll run it. But I won't run it like this. I won't let the clone run beside me because if you notice, I'm definitely going to run faster than the clone. That's how you tell the difference between clone Mirage and a real Mirage. If you ever see two running beside each other, whichever one is running faster is the real one. The clone is not an exact replication of what he's doing. Also, I do love how his glasses come down when he's actually skydiving. If you see a Mirage doing most Mirages, they'll be like, and they're running away. They're running away from their clones, which is where the light shows up. Because you see this blue trail here. This blue trail are my lights that are on my arm. So this is what you're using to cloak yourself, your real self, from getting found out. It's like some nutcracker stuff right here. This is another thing, like if I ever come across Mirage, you're gonna get found. I'm gonna know which one is you. And because they all do that same thing, they're all just like, oh, I'm an ult and go in one direction and turn around. No, because going in that one direction, I see those lights or I hear the footsteps. And then I play this guy so much, or I've played him so much, I know which one you're gonna be. And 90% of the time, I'm gonna catch you. The only time I don't is when I don't have a line of sight on you. Like an initial line of sight. So if like you're way over there,
check it over there,
and I just happen to come up and run and boom, 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 I hear all the gunfire and I never saw you and I see your clones, I'm always looking before I start shooting at the clones. because I know the moment I shoot, the real one's gonna know where I'm shooting from. That's the only time I will ever get caught by a Mirage. And it's very rare, very rare. I have to, again, not see the original to know.
I'm running out of ideas.
But yeah, anyway, that's really all I can say about him. Like, he's pretty much a simple character. It's really just about your playstyle. And a lot of people don't play with this because, again, he's a selfish.
It's Duke's o'clock.
If you're doing his ult, be very careful about doing it in water. Because those 3 to 4 seconds, your real footsteps show up in the water. So if you're in a puddle, you're in water, you're in whatever, something that's really going, like even dust, they made it so where he kicks up dust. So in those couple of seconds, he's kicking up the dust. That's the real one. So that's another reason why I won't fall for that shit, because I know the cues to look for to find this guy. If you can really play with him, and I've seen a couple of Pred players play with this guy, you can really hold your own with this dude, man.
Reloading.
We meet at last. My arch enemy, the greatest warrior that ever... Oh, my bad. I thought you were someone else. This is awkward.